You water your garden, and a few hours later, the surface is dry again. You come back the next day and do it again. Same hose, same routine, same result. Wet on top, dry underneath.
The water saturates
never
the upper
really
soil layer,
reaches where
but
it
notice
matters,
how the roots below
and
remain
most of it
completely
doesn't
dry
stay long
as a
enough
few
to be
grains of
used.
soil fall.
Some evaporates under the sun, some runs off before it sinks in. Some feeds weeds growing on the surface, not the roots below. And the cycle repeats. Water, dry, water again. You think this is just part of gardening. You think plants simply need constant attention. But that pattern is not natural. It is a failure in how water is delivered. Modern irrigation didn't fix this. It just made it easier to repeat the same mistake. Sprinklers throw water into the air.
The sprinkler
Drip
sprays
lines
lightly,
still
causing
sit near the
surface evaporation.
surface. Hoses
The drip
flood the top
provides only
layer
shallow
and move
moisture.
on. You are not controlling water. You are reacting to loss. Meanwhile, there is a system that does the opposite. No pressure, no electricity, no constant intervention. Just soil, clay, and a simple rule of physics. Water moves from where it is to where it is needed. This is not a watering problem. It is a water delivery problem. This is not a trick. This is a subsurface clay pot irrigation system, often called an OLA. It has been used across different regions for centuries, not because it is old, but because it works with how water actually moves through soil. Here's what makes it different. Instead of pouring water on the surface and hoping it reaches the roots, you store water underground inside a porous clay container. That container slowly releases water into the surrounding soil, but not continuously. Not blindly, only when the soil needs it. This is the part most people miss. The secret is not the pot. The secret is the pressure difference between wet and dry soil. Water always moves from high moisture to low moisture. So when the soil around the pot starts to dry, it pulls water through the clay wall. When the soil is already moist, the movement slows down. In simple terms, the soil controls the flow, not you. This system does not remove the need to water. It changes how water is delivered. It replaces repeated surface watering, rapid evaporation cycles, and shallow root patterns. And it creates more stable moisture around roots, less fluctuation between wet and dry, longer intervals between watering. It works best when the climate is dry to moderately humid. The soil can hold some moisture, not pure sand, and plants are placed within reach of the moisture zone. It is not universal, but under the right conditions, it reduces waste and stabilizes the system in a way surface watering cannot. This is not about using more water. It is about letting the soil take what it needs, when it needs it. Step 1, the foundation. This is the underground reservoir that holds water and makes the entire system possible. What to do? Use unglazed clay pots. They must be porous. This is non-negotiable. Bury the pot so the
Small
body is
environments yield
fully
small results.
underground, with
But
the
with enough
neck
space, your
slightly
potential
above
is
soil
truly
level to
limitless.
allow refilling. Choose size based on your growing area. Small beds, smaller pots, larger beds, larger volume, or multiple pots. Common mistake: using glazed pots or sealed containers. They do not allow water to pass through. The system simply does not work. Sign of success: the soil around the pot stays evenly damp, not soaked, not dry, with no visible pooling on the surface. Step 2. Ignition. Initial saturation. Roll starts the moisture gradient
To use
that
this
drives
ancient
water
watering
movement.
hack, first
What
bury
to
the
do?
pot, then
Fill
fill
the
the pot
pot
with
completely.
water, and finally
Then
water
the
soil
surrounding
it.
soil once to
Dry
pre-moisten
soil
the area.
actively repels water,
This step
blocking
matters
absorption.
because dry
However,
soil
once
initially
pre-moistened,
resists
the soil
water
readily
movement.
accepts the
Common mistake: skipping the initial watering and expecting the system to activate instantly. Sign of success: water level inside the pot drops slowly over multiple days, not within a few hours. Step 3. Root zone alignment. Roll ensures plant roots can access the moisture zone created by the pot. What to do? Plant crops within roughly 15 to 45 centimeters of the pot, depending on plant size. Leafy greens, closer. Larger plants, like tomatoes and peppers, slightly further. Match plant density to pot size. Common mistake: planting too far away or overcrowding too many plants around one pot. Sign of success: plants remain stable and hydrated between refills, without signs of surface dryness stress. Step 4. Water input loop. Defines how the system is maintained over time. Refill the pot based on actual usage, not habit. Typical refill frequency depends on temperature,
There are three
plant
main
size,
factors
and
affecting
soil
refill
type.
frequency.
In hot
Temperature,
conditions,
where higher
every
heat
2
means
to
more
4
water.
days.
Plant size.
In milder conditions, every 4 to 7 days. These are ranges, not fixed rules. A common mistake is treating the system as maintenance-free or forgetting to refill until plants are stressed. Sign of success: you develop a consistent refill rhythm, not daily and not reactive. Step 5. Self-regulated delivery. Roll. This is where the system becomes efficient. What to do? Let the soil control the water release. Do not try to force output. Principle:
This
the
highlighted
secret
area
is
shows
not
the moisture
pot.
tension zone.
The secret
It's this
is
tension
the moisture
gradient in the
tension
soil that
in the
controls
soil.
the water flow.
Water moves from high moisture inside the pot to low moisture, dry surrounding soil. As the soil dries, it pulls more water. As it becomes moist, the flow slows down. Think of it as a passive valve controlled by the soil itself. Common mistake: assuming the pot constantly leaks water at the same rate. Overfilling too frequently, removing the natural regulation.
When we compare the two systems,
Sign of
the
success:
contrast in efficiency is
water
clear.
lasts
One shows rapid
significantly
water
longer
loss,
than
the other,
surface
long-term
watering
water
cycles.
retention.
Step 6. Soil stability and microbiology. Roll. Turns controlled water delivery into better soil conditions. What to do? Add mulch on top of the soil. Maintain organic matter. This reduces evaporation and stabilizes temperature. Principle: stable moisture supports microbial life. Microbes break down organic matter into nutrients plants can use. In simple terms, water stability, microbial activity, nutrient availability. Common mistake: leaving soil bare, which still allows evaporation from the surface. Sign of success: soil feels cool below the surface, slightly damp, loose and crumbly, not hard or crusted. Step 7. System integration. Roll. Turns individual pots into a structured irrigation system. What to do? Place pots in a planned layout across your beds. Spacing depends on pot size, crop type, soil moisture retention. Optionally, combine with rainwater collection, mulching systems, shaded planting
watering
layouts.
creates danger for
Common
your
mistake:
plants. Achieve
random
healthy,
placement with
uniform
no
growth
spacing
by
logic,
ensuring consistent
leading to
moisture
uneven
levels
moisture
across the
zones.
entire root system.
Sign of success: the garden no longer depends on daily watering decisions. Water distribution becomes predictable and structured. Let's do the math.
Clay pot irrigation.
This system is simple,
technology that
but it
saves
is
water,
not free.
time, and effort,
You still
but
need
requires an
materials.
investment in
Unglazed clay pots typically cost between $3 and $10 each, depending on size and location. For a small garden bed, you might use 5 to 10 pots. So, your total setup cost is roughly $30 to $100
The basic system
for a
has
basic
a low
system.
total setup cost
Now
of
compare
$30
that
to
to common
$100.
alternatives.
When we
A
compare
basic
this to
drip
alternative
irrigation
1,
setup can cost
As you can
$50
see,
to
the
$200
advanced
or
drip
more,
irrigation system
and it often
represents
still
a higher
requires
initial cost,
water
typically
pressure,
ranging from 50
fittings,
to over water
occasional
pressure builds
replacement.
sequentially, moving
So
through the main
upfront,
lines
the
and
cost
activating the
difference is
emitters
not
to deliver
extreme.
water directly
The
to
real
the soil and
difference
roots.
shows up in how water is used. Surface watering loses water to evaporation, wind, runoff. Subsurface systems reduce those losses because water is stored underground. less is exposed
Irrigation
to
delivers
air,
water directly to
more
the root
reaches
zone,
the root
minimizing
zone
loss
directly.
due to evaporation.
This does not mean
This ensures
you
the
use
plants
zero
get the
water.
moisture they need
It
efficiently.
means more of the water you
As
use
you can see,
actually
the
gets
water
used.
applied through precision
Now let's talk
irrigation
about
is
frequency.
retained near the roots,
Instead of watering
ensuring that
daily,
90%
you may refill every few days, sometimes longer depending on conditions. That translates to fewer watering cycles.
By reducing watering
less time
cycles,
spent,
you save time
more
and
stable
achieve
plant
more
growth.
stable plant
But
growth.
here is the important part. This system does not guarantee a fixed percentage of water savings. The actual impact depends on climate, heat, humidity, wind, soil type, sand versus loam versus clay, plant density, system spacing. In some setups, the difference is noticeable. In others, it is moderate. So the value is not just in saving water. It is in reducing waste, reducing frequency, stabilizing output. If the system helps you water less often, lose less water, maintain more consistent growth, then over one growing season, it typically offsets its setup cost, especially in areas where water or time is limited. And after that, it is no longer something you keep paying for. It becomes part of the structure of your garden, not a purchase, a system. Most people think watering is about effort. More water, more time, more attention. So they stay in the same loop, checking the soil, reacting to dryness, adjusting again and again. But that loop never stabilizes anything, because the problem was never effort, it was control. This system changes that, not by adding more tools, not by increasing input, but by changing how water moves through your soil. You are no longer pouring water
The
and
automated
hoping it
root
stays.
irrigation system activates,
You are placing
sending
it
water
where it
directly
matters
to the roots.
and letting
Moisture
the system
sensors ensure
regulate the
even-
rest. That is the shift. You are not someone reacting to dry soil. You are someone structuring how water is delivered. Water is not just something you apply. It is something you manage. And once you start managing it, you stop chasing problems and start building stability. This is how a garden stops being reactive and starts becoming predictable, not perfect, not automatic, but controlled. Start small. One pot, one bed, one controlled area. Watch how long the moisture holds. Watch how roots respond. Watch how your role changes from constant action to quiet adjustment. You don't need to rebuild your entire garden. You need to build one working unit, because every system you build reduces one more point of waste and replaces it with structure. If you are ready to stop losing water at the surface and start controlling it underground, build the first one.